Sisterhood of the warrior queens, we are strong women fighting evil unseen. We are mothers and daughters, sisters and friends. We are seeking and guarding the truth till the end. Sisterhood of the warrior queens, united we stand in harmony. Sisterhood of the warrior queens, hand in hand, creating our destiny. Sisterhood of the warrior queens.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sisterhood of the Warrior Queens. I am your host, Ariel Truth Seeker, and I am with Waters Above. Hi, how are you, Waters Above?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you.
Yes, well, I'm awesome, so you're welcome.
You are awesome. Yes. Let me just go ahead and make sure to give everybody a round of applause. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Oh, my gosh, Pepper Mandy, it is so good to see you. I'm so happy that you can finally, be in chat. It's good to have you back, sis. Much love to Jenny and Three Fingers and Hippie and Shari. She said she had to go take a shower, but she'll be back. Oh gosh, it's good to see everybody. Oh, and Brian was here earlier, and then Claire. Much love to my sister Claire. And I don't know what the real name is of biochemistry debunks. Do you know? Do you know the mystery behind biochemistry debunks?
Can't say that I do.
No. Okay. Cool. Cool. Well, then that's gonna be a mystery from here on out. Oh gosh. Well, today's topic is really fascinating to me, don't you think? Or
Yeah, absolutely.
do you think so as well?
Yeah. No, I'm super excited. You couldn't have picked a better topic for me, honestly. So,
Well, I mean, I feel like I picked that topic with you in mind
of
because
course.
you are such an encourager, and I feel like also, I mean, you're a self-educator as it is. So who better to talk about this than you? So
Well, thank you.
I would like to just start kind of with where it begins. Where do you think waking up or self-empowerment starts? What is the spark?
Well, I mean, as far as what motivates somebody, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, or
I mean, I think it's different for different people, right? I mean, like some people have to hit rock bottom before they're willing to make a change, right? There's a good quote by George Henry Lewes, and it goes like this: "The only cure for grief is action," right? And so that quote I came across years ago, probably 20 years ago, and it's helped me quite a bit over the years. I think that when you are frustrated or unhappy enough to make a change, that's when people usually change, right? People don't change when they're comfortable, right?
No.
I mean, if you're content, well, what's to change, right? So
exactly. So you have to finally be tired or fed up, or like you want something different. You want something.
You have to want more. You have to want more, right? You have to want better than where you're at. You have to want to be better than who you are. I mean, personally, I've always strived for self-improvement and growth. I mean, even as a teenager, reading self-help books that was written for a teenager and was like a journaling exercise activity book. And I remember going through it and, just always wanting to find out who I am and feeling like if I understood myself better, that I could connect better with people.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's just part of life, right? Like the growing and learning. And I actually, one of my quotes, my personal quotes from years ago that I made up, it goes something like this, and I never get it quite right. It's kind of funny. It's the one quote that I misquote of myself. let me see if I can get it right. That life is about learning, and you have, in order to learn, in order to live, you have to grow. Right. And in order to grow, you have to learn. Mm-hmm. So basically, if you're not learning, then you're dead as far as I'm concerned, right? Yes. Because in order to grow and live, you have to learn. So it's about we keep learning, right? We all make mistakes, mm-hmm. Lots of mistakes.
Right. We all make mistakes, but
some bigger than others. Yeah.
Right. No, some more than others, but it's about whether or not you realize that you've become stagnant, like you're in this loop. If you don't realize that you're continuing the same thing. I mean, what's the definition of insanity? Continuing to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, right? So it's like you have to make that change at some point, and it has to start internally, I believe. I think you have to make that conscious decision. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to look for something different. Something has to change. And you can't give that to people. You can't.
No, absolutely. I was just thinking that, it's really a fire inside, right? Are you passionate or not? Are you apathetic? Do you not care? I mean, it's right. I mean, there's a range, right? It's not like you have to be one extreme or the other. You could be anywhere in between. But, a problem that I find with a lot of people is that they just don't really care. And like a problem that I personally had to deal with is that I care too much, right?
Yes.
You know, like even when I, because I used to work, for example, when I was a pharmacy technician, you know, I cared about the customers. I cared about the patients. I cared about doing a good job. I cared about getting them the best price. You know, I cared about giving them good service. And then I would work with pharmacists that didn't care and would make them wait for hours with sick children. And I'm just like, what is wrong with people? You know, but you know, it's like, yeah, I mean, so I think that you have to have a passion, right? You can't be apathetic because you're not going to, well, and you have to be able to identify, your faults, right? If you want to improve, you have to be able to admit that you're not perfect.
And I agree. You have to be, not only do you have to admit that you're not perfect, but that you're going to continue to not be perfect, that you're never going to be perfect, that you're never going to reach that whatever that is in your brain. You need to scrap it because you are good enough as you are right now. And you just need to continue to build more and more to grow. Like you can't, the perfect, it doesn't exist. At least, you know, I think that's in my brain, right? And I have to just accept, okay, this is good. Like make it as good as you can. That is enough.
Well, I'm a perfectionist also, right? So I get that. And I think that that's good as a motivator. But being a perfectionist can be a negative thing when it stops you from getting started if you don't have the perfect plan, for example, right? So, you know, just like anything, right? I mean, like there's good and bad in it. So, but yeah, absolutely. Like you have to be able to look at yourself and really look within and see who you are, to even start to explore in order to improve and grow upon yourself, you know?
And figuring out who you are is all about asking yourself hard questions. It's like, what do I want to do, right? How do I contribute? And I think it's mostly, you know, the society that we are in, it doesn't ask us how we contribute. It's just like, are you keeping up? Are you this? Are you cool? Are you hip? But it's not like, how can I give of myself freely? How can I contribute to the greater good or the greater cause? That's, I think, what gives
we a very self-centered society in general, right?
Very, very. And it doesn't teach us how to learn. That's what I want to really focus on. They don't teach us how to learn. They don't teach us how to discover ourselves. They don't teach us how to figure out what our strengths are and how to sharpen them and develop them. It's all about just memorizing and regurgitating and fitting ourselves into a standard box, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, especially the traditional education system as it is, you know, with the public schools and the curriculum and everything, the way that it is just, it's all regurgitation. You know, there's not really room for the critical thinking, you know. Yeah.
So what would you say is the next step to self-empowerment? So we've already realized, okay, I gotta do something, right? That's my inner spark. I've got a fire. I'm intrigued enough to do something, right? You said you went to self-help books. Was that the only thing that empowered you, or can you give us something that really did empower you?
So, yeah, I mean, I started there, you know, as a teenager, and, you know, I also I was into church and the Bible, you know, and so I had that power as well, right? Encouragement. So some of the self-help things that I looked at were faith-based, you know, not everything. Music has always helped me a lot. It's given me strength. It's given me comfort throughout the years, you know, different hard times, sad times.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of value in art in general, right? And in terms of being self-empowering, right? Being creative, right? Making your own art in some capacity. You know, like I'm not a musician. I love music. I'm the best fan, right? I'm like a great fan in the audience. I'll dance and, you know, I know all the words and everything, but I don't play music myself. But, you know, what I like to do is like graphic design and collage, like photo books, like digital and things like that. So, you know, I think that, and writing, right? I like to write as well. So
yes, that's right.
You know,
you do good poetry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
But I think being able to express yourself, just giving yourself room to allow yourself to be expressive in some capacity, right? Whether it's verbally, you know, I mean, some people make videos, but that's not for everybody, you know, and, you know, you can express yourself like through cooking, right? Like your creativity, there's all different ways, like gardening, you know, obviously like standard art, like painting. But I think that tapping into your creative aspects helps connect you to yourself, and that is empowering on its own, basically.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, because it's you taking control or taking reign of your own creative drive, right? I mean,
right, yeah. And well, it's funny because like growing up, I thought my sister was the creative one and that I was just the book smart one. And I really grew up thinking that I wasn't creative at all.
Oh, wow.
But I'm totally creative.
Yeah, you are.
You know, and I like arts and crafts, like paper type arts and crafts, you know. And anyways, but yeah, and I'm, you know, as a teacher, I was very creative. And with my son, you know, just raising him, and you know, when he was little, we would make up games and I would make up songs on the fly, and you know, I'm very creative with him, you know, and with his curriculum and things for homeschool. So, you know, I think that some of us were never allowed, or our creative side was never nurtured, like with me, for example. It just wasn't, you know. And I literally thought that, like, I mean, like I could draw, you know, I mean, but it wasn't like I was, you know, anything special. I mean, anything I drew was recognizable, you know. I mean, I could draw, but I never considered myself like an artist in that way or anything like that. You know, I didn't consider myself an artist actually probably until after I was a mom, and maybe a little bit as a teacher. You know, I remember when I was in college taking a course, so I studied elementary education, and so our courses were much like elementary school, right? So we had like music and art and, you know, language arts and math, you know, but it was like math for elementary school teachers and language arts for elementary school teachers. So it was like how to teach those subjects, obviously, right? So, but when I took the art class, like I actually did tap into some of my own creativity in that class, and I was just like, wow, you know, like there's, you know, I can do stuff too, you know. It was nice.
Yeah. That is
because it was nurtured, you know. I was given an opportunity, you know.
Yes, to actually.
So I think part of being empowered is, I mean, you know, there's self-empowerment, right? But we need to empower others too, right? I mean, because like that art teacher that I had in college empowered me in terms of like letting me see that, hey, I am creative because I can do these things and they come out pretty cool too. You know, I just never tried things like that before. You know, like we had to do some different specific techniques, you know, artistic techniques. So.
Right. But like to give you the opportunity to try or expand into a different branch than you had always been.
Don't be afraid to try, right? Don't
be afraid to try.
You can't succeed if you don't try.
I mean, and you'll never know if you don't try. It's like true. You miss
and you can like.
No, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I feel like I grew up being afraid to try new things a lot. You know, I liked to do things that I knew I was good at. You know, I was book smart. You know, I was very good at school. I could do those things. I wasn't, you know, a sports, you know, I wasn't athletic necessarily. And that's the other thing is like, I never felt like I was athletic, but again, you know, as an adult, like I do enjoy a lot of different sports and things. So I feel like if that had been nurtured, if I didn't feel like, oh, I'm just a bookworm, you know,
Right.
like I had been labeled and that's who I am now, you know, I like accepted that as my title or my role or whatever, and thought that that's who I am. So I'm not these other things, but.
And that's what happens so often.
You can tap into all the aspects of you, right? There's 37 Jennifers now, so.
yeah. And that's just something that people don't, they label you early on. You get labeled, a name called, you get put in a box early on. And when you're young, you know, that sticks in your head. And, you know, I feel like it should not be.
Exactly.
And then, of course, we have the gender roles, right? You know, you mentioned sports, that I feel like, I mean, maybe not so much now, but I know when I was growing up, you know, girls didn't really, you know, you didn't really play that. You know, you were a tomboy, right? If you were, you know, playing the sports. And I feel like it should be more, everyone, all kids, y'all all play, y'all all go do stuff, right? Y'all all bookworms, y'all all, like, right? If Jimmy's going off in the woods to pick a worm, he should be able to do that. And if Janie wants to go read a book, she should be able to do that, right? We shouldn't have to, and then say, and then vice versa, and then be like, oh, well, you're a bookworm and you're a tomboy, right?
Yeah. I think that, you know, part of feeling or being truly self-empowered is confidence. You know, and in order to have confidence, you really need to like yourself, hopefully love yourself, right?
Oh yeah, because you can't love anybody else.
I mean, honestly, that's a big hurdle right there.
Very big.
Becoming fully empowered.
I agree because you have to be able to take care of yourself and not lie to yourself anymore. You have to be able to realize when you're lying to yourself. You know, you are your own worst enemy, and when you're ready to get out of your own way, then it's a beautiful thing. And be gentle. I think that's, so for me, that's where I'm at. I'm realizing I got to get out of my own way, but I got to be gentle about it, because I am my own worst enemy. And I am so mean to myself, so hateful, right? You have to change the way you talk to yourself.
I totally feel you, Ariel. I totally feel you. I know. So something I learned a few years ago, but, you know, I still have to remind myself this, because I'll beat myself up for things as well. You know, and sometimes just that perfectionist mentality, right? You know, it's like, oh, I didn't do it exactly perfect, or, you know, up to my standards or whatever, but nobody else notices. but yeah, I just lost track of what I was going to say.
No, you're fine.
Oh, about being compassionate with yourself. Okay. So several years ago, somebody told me that, you know, talk to yourself like you would talk to your friend in that situation. Like you would never talk to your friend the way you talk to yourself when you're beating yourself up, you know?
Never.
So yeah. So it's
I like that. That's a good one.
You have to be compassionate with yourself, right? We have to give ourselves the grace to fuck up.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, like not trying is the worst, I think. Right. So
I agree.
Like you might fail, and you might fail several times in a row, but if you keep trying, like you're going to get there, you know? Exactly. And you have to start somewhere. So
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly.
100% of this. And I have to keep that in mind. And you're right. It's just doing it, right? It's just doing it.
Girl, a long time. I'm trying to think how many years ago this was, maybe 20 years ago, but my New Year's resolution, like I I am so crazy. I had always used to make these New Year's resolutions that were so detailed, and I would have them like written out in Roman numerals, ABC, 1, 2, 3 underneath, like for real. Like I would have the physical, the mental, the social, the spiritual, like all these categories, like nutrition, you know, diet, exercise, like all the things, schedule, routine. Every year I'd write like almost the same thing. And like, if I was doing it, I wouldn't have to keep writing it, right? So one year I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm making one resolution that is simple and I can follow. And it was just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it. Like, stop it with all the lists and all the planning and like, just do it. Just do it. And like, I had the cleanest house that year that like I've ever had. Like my life was so like, I was on top of shit, man. Like I was large and in charge.
Because you were just doing it.
I was just doing it. Yeah. I wasn't like talking about it or thinking about it. I was actually doing it.
And it's so, oh my gosh, that is so me though, because I'm like going back to being a perfectionist, going back to being a planner, an organizer. Like I gotta, you know, there are so many different aspects of my life I want to change, so many places that I want to grow, so many aspects that I want to learn. I want to hit them all. You know, I gotta have a spreadsheet like you. But if I did it that way, then I'm setting myself up to fail because I'm giving myself standards, you know, all of these things. No, there's no such thing. Just do it. It's plain. It's simple. We overthink things. I know as women, we probably do that more. And I, for one, definitely can attest to that. Me overthinking all of the things, second guessing myself all of the time. But it's self-empowerment to know that whatever decision I make is okay, right? Because that's okay for me. It doesn't matter because I should not be comparing myself to anybody else. First of all, I should be absorbing and digesting it and then conforming it how I want to, not doing it for anybody else. And giving myself grace, because if I try and, you know, I stumble, or if it lands on somebody else and, you know, they don't really like it, it doesn't matter, you know. If it's for me, it's for me.
Girl, I tell jokes for me to laugh, okay? Like if you laugh, that's bonus, right?
That is funny. Yes.
I like to laugh, so like if I think it's funny, my joke is a success, right?
That is a success. Thank you. Did I laugh? Yeah. I crack myself up sometimes. That's all that matters.
That's right. Totally.
I have to live with me. Nobody else really does have to live with me for the rest of my life besides me. So I better be funny.
Yep. You're the only person that you're going to wake up with and go to sleep with every day for the rest of your life.
For the rest of my life. That is guaranteed for the rest of my life.
Like that's every day.
Every day. Nope. Yep. Isn't that funny? And
but as far as the just do it, I will say like have discernment, right? Like don't just do anything, obviously. So, you know, that's my disclaimer for that. Just in case anybody wants to take my words and go do something retarded. That's not what I'm suggesting or advising.
Thank you. We're talking about
we're off the hook now.
Right, not being a procrastinator, like doing what you think you should, like not. Come on, y'all. We're all adults here, please.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Don't go do anything you'll regret, right?
No, and it's like, you know, that's the balancing act, because it's like, I don't want to do anything I don't want to regret, but you also need to be able to take risks. Like it's all about balance. It's not about too much or too little of anything. I think that is the big thing. There is good, there is bad. If you find the balance in your life for all things, that's no, don't do too much of anything. Don't do too good, too bad. Just do your best. Okay.
Life is a balancing act, you know. I mean, we learn as we go, right? And the Bible does have a good set of rules. If we followed those, our lives would be better. I can tell you that. I broke a couple of those rules over the past year and made my life really complicated and painful for a little while, but live and learn. So
live and learn. Exactly. And it's all growing pains. But, it just means you're growing and you're learning. Who said it wasn't going to be painful, right?
I know. I'm like, can I get taller? Why can't I get taller, right?
Taller, right? I would rather honestly get taller. I'll take a couple more stretch marks. It'll be okay. And then, I'll be able to see from a higher altitude. It'll be cool.
But, I have grown from my mistakes, even in this past year. I've grown spiritually. I've grown emotionally.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that if we take those mistakes and count them as a lesson, then it's really a blessing, right?
Right. Because you really
and
should.
So well, I was just going to say your attitude about it is what makes it empowering, right? Mm-hmm. Like I feel stronger after my mistakes than I did before because I've learned things. Mm-hmm. And it did make me grow. Mm-hmm.
No, exactly.
And growth is often painful. I mean, they call it growing pains. It's not always pleasant. Those life lessons, that is.
And there is no cap to these growing pains. You don't stop learning. You don't stop growing. If you stop growing and learning, then you're basically dead, as you have said. So, you should still be learning things, hopefully, up until the day that you part ways from this realm and go back to being our creator. But I agree with you that the Bible is a great manual. I think a lot of Christians, and I don't prescribe to that word, and I feel like I have to preface a lot of things for my audience.
I don't call myself anything either, but the Bible is a good book. They call it the good book for a reason, right? And the BIBLE, basic instructions before leaving Earth. Have you heard that acronym before?
I have. That is
well, it's appropriate. So, yeah, the first time I heard that, I was like, whoa.
Because
I was like, there is a manual.
There is a manual.
They say there's not a manual for life, but that's just not true. So.
And it's so simple. People try to overcomplicate it, but it is honestly so simple. And if you're questioning, because remember, we started back at the beginning where you have to start in yourself. You have to start by saying there is something more. There is something different. Like if you are actually ready, okay, to make a change. And then if you take it a step further and say that there is a higher power and you ask that higher power, you don't even have to know anything or have it. Just the fact that you put it out there is enough for you to get a response back. So the Bible, I
have truth bumps right now.
Truth bumps, right? That's how I feel.
Yeah, because the Bible says, ask and ye shall receive, right? Knock and it shall be opened. Ask and it shall be given unto you. So, seek and ye shall find, right? Like, but you have to do it. Like, it's not just gonna fall on your head, probably. So,
no,
getting knocked over the head with the Bible is not going to help you.
No, it's not.
And smacking people with a Bible is not going to help you or them either. So I don't do that either.
Anybody listening to this, if you can touch the Bible or get smacked with the Bible and you know what's in it automatically, please let me know. Please contact me ASAP. Because I want to be the one that smacks you over the side of the head, and I want to see if you remember all of the things in the Bible. Please reach out to me.
Oh my goodness.
Because that would make my day.
That
would make my day. Anyway, so no, but really, so it's an instruction manual, and people are like, you don't want to be chained to the law. You don't want to be chained to that. It's so destructive, it's so conforming, and it's like, well, no, if you go and you read it with an open mind and you just say it is a good book, it is an instruction manual, you read it from beginning to end without any bias, without any preconceived notions. I mean, that's, first of all, I don't know if anybody is capable of doing that. Everybody has to sit down and tell themselves consciously not to do that, or they will bring all of their bias to everything, right? I mean,
Yeah, of course.
I can't say I do that every time, right? But this is something that we have to keep in mind, is we cannot bring our previous bias to any
right. But honestly, even at face value, even if all you pull out is just the 10 commandments, like if you follow those 10 rules, you're going to have a better life. Your life's not going to be so complicated. You're going to have a simple life. You're going to be, and Jesus said,
because you're nice.
Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments.
Keep my commandments if you love me.
That's what he said. So, I mean, if we're not keeping them, then we don't really love them.
And it's all about commitment, right? It's all about consistency. It's all about...
Well, it's about your intention, right? It's about where your heart is and where your energy is,
Yes, I agree. Sorry, I was looking at the comments here. Much love to everybody. You guys are awesome. Doc Michael, Hippie, Jenny, Singles Bookstore, Awakened Mind, Shari, you guys are awesome. Ray, much love, Ray. Pepper Mandy, everybody. You guys are talking about things that we're not talking about right now. Kevin says that when he was 11, his church told him to disregard Genesis.
Wow. Just throw out that first book of the Bible, son. Don't worry about that.
Completely.
That's messed up.
Isn't it?
That's a church you don't want to stay at, probably.
No. Yeah. And why is that? We could debate all day long why they would say that, right? Because everything is up for debate in the church. Every church.
Well, it makes you wonder what their stance was, on certain things, like all the creationism and,
Well, yeah, they must.
Interesting. Just don't worry about that first book. It only tells you all kinds of stuff. It's just the foundation. It's just the beginning of time. That's all.
It's okay. You can go find a monkey and study a monkey. You'll know what it's
no monkey fish frogs here.
Seriously. That is so, and that's the church for you, though. They take away what they want, they add what they want. It's no one, there's no checks, there's no balances. I mean, no one's actually doing their type of research, right? That's why it's all about self-education. I no longer prescribe to going to a church, going to a pulpit.
That's right.
To
read it for yourself.
Else's interpretations of it, right? Mm-hmm. I do go to a group where we are all on the same. I mean, so sorry, let me use my words a little bit more so I can explain a little bit better. I think there's a difference between going to be told what to do and going to discuss all ways of interpreting something. I think that going to a group and having a couple of people who have read this particular portion more than once, right? Maybe 5 times over the last 5 years, maybe 50 times over the last 30 years, right? They have read it so much that they have insights over ideas over ideas over ideas. They would have more to talk about than I would, somebody who only read it once, right? And I would be super interested to hear what they had to say. But he's not telling me what to think. He's not telling me what it says. He's just said, I've read it this many times, and this is how I have interpreted it over the couple of years, right? Take it or leave it.
Well, and I can't remember where it's written right now, but even in the Bible, it says that we're supposed to study it for ourselves. We're supposed to study the word for ourselves, and we're supposed to do it in prayer also, right? So that we have understanding. You pray for understanding, the Holy Spirit will give you understanding and discernment when you're reading.
Yes, wisdom. That's all I want. I want wisdom.
I mean, I think we have more brains than what's in our cranium. right? Like our heart has a brain, right? Our gut has a brain,
Yes.
right?
All of our cells have a
There's
brain.
lower places that have a brain, we've got several brains, right?
Yeah, we do. The chat is definitely talking about one of those brains right now.
I saw that.
Where
Just
they're
let
not
them
wanting
talk.
to keep going.
Moving right along. There's Dottie.
There's a lot.
Shout out to Dottie's World.
I know,
Can
right?
I mention?
Let me go ahead and put that out there. So Monday,
Yes.
right? Tomorrow night.
Yes. Waters World Conspiracy Trivia on Monday nights with Waters Above and Dottie's World. So she just dropped the link in there. That's going to go straight to the stream. And that's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Monday. We'll be having some fun. Everybody gets half a point just for showing up. Yeah, I'm super stoked because my favorite number is 37. And tomorrow is 37 because it's March 7th.
That's
and I'm having the first live stream ever on my channel. So
yay,
go
that's
me.
exciting.
Yeah, we're gonna have lots of fun, you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, I miss trivia, and there's no reason not to have a great time. So me and Dottie are doing it.
Doing it. I'm so
doing it.
I'm so happy.
Doing it, and doing it well.
Oh, and happy birthday to Shari. Tomorrow is her birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Much
Sweet.
love, sis. That's awesome. I checking. Hold on, let me check over here on Facebook. I am on Facebook. Kevin, hey Kevin, you were on Facebook. I saw you. I don't
Shelby.
know.
Hi, Shelby.
Shelby was over there. Hey, Shelby. And Gregory.
She just popped in YouTube.
Don't regret, just grow. We are children. The Bible is the book of life. Nah, much love over there, Gregory. Thanks to everybody who's watching over there. And much love to my spirit animal. I'm sorry I didn't see you. I love you. You're awesome. You're amazing. I can't wait to talk to you.
I need to take just a quick break and get a refill of water.
Yeah, okay. No worries.
I'll be right back. Okay.
Go right ahead. We're all good here. I am oh, Dottie says she has the same lamp as me. That's awesome. It's pretty cute lamp. It's not really mine. It was just here when I was here. Bye, Kevin. Thanks for stopping by. Take care. Be safe. Yes, Waters Above. You guys are awesome. So talking with Jennifer about self-empowerment and self-education, I feel like is just the most important, one of the most important things that we should be doing right now, because we are in a society, or we're in a time where people, honestly, that's the only way that they should be able to get good news, right? Because the news that they're getting is all propaganda. The news that they're getting is all triggered for a specific response, right? They're stuck in that fear loop. And I feel so sorry for them. They're stuck in that loop. And it's really, we can't wake them up as much as we want to. And I think having discussions like these with Waters Above is important, because the only way to kind of wake people up is for them to hear what we're talking about, is for them to hear the other side, is to present the fact that we are unafraid. We are warrior queens. We can think a different way. We are empowered. Hey, look, that's all it is. Change starts with you. Change starts inwardly. I cannot change the world. I cannot wake up the world. And I'm not going out doing this thinking that. Because if I did, I would be very depressed, because I would make very little change, honestly. Because if you go out trying to change the world, then you're not going to be happy, because the world is not going to change the way you think it will. However,
that's true, right?
If you can change yourself, and you can be consistent and love yourself, and show and empower and learn yourself, and then live your truth, right? Live it out loud. and unapologetically, which is
Yes.
my problem because I apologize for existing. And it's like, no, I
Mm-mm.
unapologetically believe that the earth is flat. I unapologetically believe that there is a creator of the universe. I unapologetically believe that we are all connected to
Girl.
creation and it is a beautiful thing, right? So standing up, declaring that, and saying that I don't agree with the narrative is something that a lot of people are scared to do. Why? Because
Be
they get
bold.
ostracized, right? Nobody wants to be ostracized. We have been, oh, just going back to school and going into education and being bullied, right? Cliques. I mean, we do not like to be ostracized, and the government has made it very, very, very scary to be ostracized in this society for many, many different ways. And there's a lot of different ways that we're not here to talk about today. However, just going back to the fact that I had mentioned the fact that I felt sad for most of the population today because they're stuck in that loop, and that loop is just a sad, fearful,
Fear. It's a fear
just,
program.
yes, you are
Dude,
less than, you don't do anything, right? You can't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they run different scripts, but it's still a fear program.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They change the narrative, or like you said, they change the script sometimes. When they realize that we're tired of one story, they are quick to bring out another story because they have to keep us entertained. It's all about keeping us asleep. We're not going to be asleep anymore.
Yeah, entertainment is to capture the mind.
Entertain and contain. Tainment.
When you break down the word entertainment, that's what it means, right? Because ment is your mind.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you're capturing the mind.
Go away, Dr. Law. Hi, Law. You are not. Nobody likes this. Nobody likes this. Oh, gosh. So, yes, that's why I was just trying to say that having this conversation is, I think, a part of the war, part of the battle. It's part of our strategy to wake up the masses. It's you just go out there and you tell you find someone. I have been able to find my sister Jennifer, who iron sharpens iron, and we can talk back and forth, and we can continue to make each other stronger. So you find someone else who you can bounce off of, who's same wavelength, and then eventually you attract more. Right? Hopefully that's what this stream will continue to do, is attract more of the same energy so that we can make some type of noise, some type of sound. I hope it's good music, because I want all of these ladies to to bring something to the table, and just to show the masses. And I say the masses, I'm not trying to be the masses. I'm trying to do my neighborhood. Like, can we just do our neighborhoods? Like, that's big enough.
Well, you got to start small, right? Think big and start small.
Thank you. Think big, start small. So if we can just do our neighborhoods and we just get people to have a conversation like we're doing here. Have you thought about things differently? Have you thought about things this way? Have you seen it from a different angle?
Yeah, and not everybody's ready. Not everybody's willing to see, to hear, like my neighbors, for example, they're just not there. They're not interested. And I don't push it. I don't push anything on anybody, right? Like I have my values and I have my beliefs, and I recognize that everyone else has their own values and beliefs too, and that they could be very different than mine. And I don't have any control over what they value or what they believe. And it's not really my job to convince people that my values and my beliefs are right for them right now. I don't feel like that's my job. I feel like I feel like it's my job for me to know as much truth as possible.
Yes.
And for me to teach my child as much truth as possible. I feel like it's my job to try to build a library of hard books, right? Like on the bookshelf of books that I want to pass on to my son. That if I can't impart all the knowledge that I've learned, I can at least leave him a library of information.
Yes.
You know, I did teach him. I mean, he can read. Obviously, he's 9, but I mean, he's a good reader. So once you know how to read, you can learn anything, right?
That's right. It's over. It really is.
I mean, books are so valuable. You know, when everything went digital, you know, I just knew. I was like, yeah, this isn't good. I like the hard copy books that you can hold in your hand.
Yes,
you know?
and I think it's important that we start collecting more of them because I mean, if the Library of Alexandria is any indication, you know, they have been trying to hoard and wipe off knowledge from the face of the planet, of the face of
Right.
the plane for a while. So, you like you say, digital is scary because that just means they can delete anything with a push of a button. So, you know, we really need to be printing out things that are important and saving them for later
Right.
as evidence. You know, we need to be getting hard copies of everything because
And memorizing things, right?
yes, that too.
Shit changes, right? Like, I mean, I did memory verses, you know, in Sunday school as a little girl. And, you know, I remember the Lord's Prayer with trespasses, for example.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is I also had a children's living Bible when I was a child. And I remember in one passage, and in the King James, so this was like over 30 years ago, right? That I recognized that, so the Lord's Prayer is in 2 different books of the Bible. And one of the books at that time still said trespasses, and the other book said debts and debtors.
Wow, that's interesting.
Because I asked my granny about it because my grandfather was a preacher. He was a minister, and so he, you know, they knew the Bible very well. And I asked my granny about it, and she thought that it was that she explained. I remember her explaining to me at the time that, you know, it was important to pay your debts and that it was a similar meaning, but not exactly the same. And it was in there both ways. But I mean, of course, we weren't like discussing changes or anything like this.
Right.
I
But
mean,
still,
I had no
that's
idea.
crazy. Yeah.
But I do have an anchor memory of learning the Lord's Prayer with trespasses, and then also reading it because it's in Mark, or it's in Matthew, right? And in Mark. It's in 2 books of the Bible. And so it said it each way at that time. But yeah, but I think memory verses are important, is my point, right? Because things change. So even like things having them written format, like a library, is important. But like internalizing as much of that information as you can is also important. You know, actually reading it and studying it to know it.
To know it and to be able to meditate on it, right? Because you know, the Bible does say that everything is written on our heart, and I do think that there is a lot that is already written on our hearts. I had a really interesting conversation with Shelley Aller at Flatlantic about the fact that a lot of flat earthers have this urge to leave or to get out or to run or to go somewhere. And, you know, that's something that is written on our heart. I feel like that is something that is internal, that comes from the Creator, you know, because it doesn't sit right with our spirits. You know what I mean? Something is telling us that we need to, it could just be a collective anxiety. It could be something else. But I feel like at that conversation we had, I got truth bumps that day because I was just like, oh my God, like, Jesus, are you here? Like, oh gosh.
That's awesome.
but memorizing it and internalizing it, because that's what you meditate on, because that's how you continue to empower yourself and have affirmations, because scripture are great affirmations to tell you who you are, tell you
Absolutely.
how powerful you are, how
Yes.
you're connected to the creator. I love the fact that now, after waking up and coming to the truth of the flat plane, is that he is the creator. God just does not feel big enough to me. God just feels so cheap. I don't even feel bad saying, oh my God, anymore, because that's not my God. Like, God holds no significance. Like, that word holds no significance to the creator for me.
Yeah.
The creator, like, he is the grand architect. Like, he's here, he exists, he's connected to us right now. And it just made everything so real and so tangible. And I think that's something that Christianity has taken away from humanity, is how tangible the connection with the creator can be.
Yeah, well, for me, I talk to God, and somebody recently asked me, like, when I pray, how do I do it? Like, do I like kneel down or get in a quiet place, or, and I was like, not necessarily, right? I mean, I might sometimes, but the Bible says to pray without ceasing, right? And so you can pray anytime. So, for me, like, since I was a little girl, I've always talked to God, and sometimes I will hear him, like, clearly speak to me as well.
Yeah.
It sounds, it's like a thought, but it doesn't feel like a thought that I'm having. And usually it's like something being told to me,
Yeah.
So I've had lots of, experiences where I feel like, he is communicating directly with me, and I'm blessed to hear him, I've talked to some people that like surprises them, or they've not like experienced that. And it kind of makes me sad, because I know that's possible, because that's what I've experienced, and there's different ways, I'm sure, that he communicates with different people. But yeah, I think that when you talk to him, he'll talk to you.
Yes.
Right? Yes. And that's what prayer is. And so prayer doesn't have to be, anything, that's rehearsed or formal or anything like that. Yeah, you're talking to the creator, and our Father, right? And back to the 10 commandments, like, a good father is going to establish proper rules in a home so that it runs smoothly and everybody stays safe.
Yes.
I mean, that's how I see the 10 commandments. Yeah.
And to see everyone can find the creator everywhere. Dottie found the creator in the garden. I feel like after Flat Plane, the moon and the stars, because it was night for me, and it was just like, oh my gosh, they were so bright and beautiful. They were like, the moon was bigger. I don't know if the moon really was bigger that night, but it was just like, it brought it all together. And whew, it's an empowering thing to have a connection with the creator. So
absolutely.
Once you realize that, because once you ask the question, you can't take it back, right? And then you realize that you've asked the question, and then not only did you ask, but it was returned, it was answered. And then you have those synchronicities, and you go down this journey, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, there's actually something that's working. This is a supernatural realm, and that in itself has to be. I was empowered. Were you empowered?
Yes, absolutely. And I think when those truth bumps come, that's confirmation, of what you know, right?
Yes.
That connection, when you feel that, it, like, all the way through your body.
And it's just, nobody can tell you any different, right? And I know for me, like, I'm a very, like I mentioned before, apologetic, guilt, shame. I'm embarrassed about living. Like, I'm just embarrassed to be here. You know, I'm embarrassed to exist, right? Second guessing everything. But like also knowing that, you know, when I make a decision, like it's okay. Like I like stick to that. And dang, I just lost my whole train of thought. Like, where was I going with this? I looked down and I saw, oh man, the thought went that way. The thought went that way so weird.
Oh my goodness.
I hate it when that happens. What was I talking about? Shit. We were
just talking about the connection and how nobody can tell you that it's not real. Like once, you know, when you experience it.
Right. And I was saying, you know, I second guess it a lot, but there's just, even though I'm a second guessing person, there's just something that I cannot even shake, you know, that I have enough faith in or connection with my creator, because I think that the creator talks to each person individually. And so there will never be a one way or a one creator for us all to name, because he has made us all so unique that we have such a unique connection to him that we can't have the same God or connection to God, because we're all different. So it's like we are not.
Right, I see what you're saying. Right.
You know,
right.
So I might say Jesus, you might say Jehovah, you know, someone might say God, and it's
right. Yeah.
But it's all the same. So, and just knowing that I have my connection and I can hold fast into that, and your connection with yours is yours, and you can hold on to that, and there's no bad reflection. Does that make sense? I think that Christianity had, especially because I was raised Southern Baptist, black and white, absolute truth, absolute evil, right? You know, and there is one way. That is, and if you don't do it, and I understand to a certain degree, and I've come such a far circle, you know, like they take things out of context.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
In so many different ways. And I'm grateful now to have a broader view, because the Bible is so much more complex than they tell us. And it's also way more simple, because it's complex only in the fact that it is so simple. Does that make sense?
Well, I think that the Bible is coded, so I think it's more complex in that regard.
Yeah.
But honestly, a lot of the principles are so simple, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's a thick document, right? With 66 books and really thin paper and really small type. So it's intimidating, right? Like people don't. It's the book everyone has that nobody reads, but
everybody has.
But you know, the stories in it are useful, right? And a lot of the knowledge in there is good information. But yeah, I mean, you could really just take out a few key verses from that, and if you just did that, you'd be all right still.
You would still be all right. Exactly. Yeah. And I don't even think that that's the only book. And I'm not even saying
sure. No, there's
book.
Right. There's other scriptures out there. Sure.
There are, you know, and you had mentioned that the Bible was 66 books. At one point it was more.
It was a lot more.
Books,
sure.
Right.
So
like they have dumbed it down. So the Bible, you have to go and do your own research and figure it out, because all we're saying is that whatever you have been presented your whole life is not correct, and you should question it and go find out the original. And there's nothing wrong with finding out what happened and then how we got to this point. I really, really, really want to get into the history of Hinduism and Buddhism, because I feel like anything that can bring us to the creator, all religions have a little piece of something that could bring us there. And for me, Hinduism and Buddhism have a lot of that meditation and physical body type of connection with breathing, breath work, centering your body, because it's all. And I feel like if the Bible had that, we would be golden, right? If Jesus had done yoga, we would be golden. If we were allowed to meditate, we would be golden. But Christians think yoga is of the devil, and it's demon worship, and you are invoking the sun god. I feel like there's a lot of conspiracies around yoga, which is difficult for me because I don't want to invoke no demons. I just want to. Right, I want to do some feng shui. I want to just kind of be okay. Can we just?
Right.
But there's just so many. So that for me, my cognitive dissonance, trying to get rid of my bias that I was raised in, and I would say that was something that I want to look into, because that they have amazing things that are self-empowerment and self-education. Right? Like, is there something else that you think you could bring like that you want to get into or have gotten into?
In terms of self-education in general?
Well, like,
is that what you're asking, or in terms of like yoga and religion? What are we talking about?
I know, right? What subject are we talking about right now?
We've been all over the place. We could go to some self-education stuff, I guess.
Yeah, no,
if you want.
I'm sorry. I know.
No, it's okay. It's been a great Yes. No, I think it's been a great conversation, right? And I mean, my favorite conversations are organic like this, right? That you don't know where it's going to go exactly, right? You get on a topic and you might end up like talking about something totally different, because I didn't even expect to be talking about the Bible and stuff, but here we are. So, it's just organic. No, I think I brought it up actually. It's okay. Yeah, no, I mean, because I was talking about it being a good guidebook and things, right? And how for me personally, like, spirituality has helped with feeling empowered, right? And being empowered. That it's not just about self-empowerment, right? Like that you do need to do it yourself. You need to take the initiative, right? You need to take the first step. You have to knock, you have to seek, you have to ask. But if you do that, yeah, I mean, then a lot will be revealed to you, right? Just like all the other truth that we've come into in this community, right? Like you question things and, you're not satisfied with the answers initially presented. And so you dig deeper and you discover truth, right? And so it's the same thing for yourself, that you have to be there, you have to identify something that you're not really content with, and then be willing to admit it, right? That you're not perfect and that you can stand to improve in that area. And then you actually do it, right? But what if you know that you need to improve on something, but you don't know how to get there, right? So then it is important to know how to educate yourself, right? And I mean, in the world that we live in now, we literally have just all the information at our fingertips, right? Like we could be discovering and learning all kinds of things all the time, my husband, for example, like he's really good at fixing things and working on the vehicles and different things, whatever needs fixing around the house or whatever. And he's handy and he knows how to do a lot of that stuff anyway. But if he doesn't know how to do it, he looks it up on YouTube, because there's usually a video already on how to fix that thing. And then there he is doing it, right? So he's empowering himself, and then we're also saving money and not having to pay somebody else to repair, right? So we're more self-sufficient in that regard. And it's because of self-education, right? And so there's so many resources. Like there's more than just stupid cat videos that you could be watching.
Thank you. Just why?
I don't get that, right?
Seriously. find something else. Like, have you ever been curious enough to like know how your microwave works? I feel like you would learn more from trying to take your microwave apart and then put it back together, and
Or just throw it away because it's a microwave, right? Get rid of your damn microwave. But I hear you. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Disassembling a radio. And yeah, my son likes to take things apart and put things back together. And that's totally a way of learning, you know. Yeah, I think to just not be afraid to try something new and to learn something new.
Yes.
You know,
yes. Don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to fail. And I think a lot of people are, because I mean, they don't want to be made fun of. You know, nobody wants to try something and then look bad doing it. You know, people expect to just be ready. Well,
most people aren't good the first time they try something, right? So
most people aren't.
Yeah. Most people don't ride a bike the first time they try either.
And you can't expect yourself to.
I love riding a bike.
Gosh. And if we had trade schools, right, where people could go and they could try their hand at different things, you know, and learn different trades, that would have been something that people would know, you know, I can do this, or I'm good at this, or, you know, wouldn't be afraid to try new things and see where they, you know, fit in, or what fits good for them, not where they fit in, but what fits good for them. We're so used to fitting in. No, what works for me? What fits me?
Right.
Jenny got rid of her microwave in 2017. Nice. Good job, Jenny.
I got rid of my microwave in 2010, I think.
2010. Nice.
Yeah. So my son's never had a microwave.
Wow. Okay.
Because he was born in 2012.
That's cool.
Microwave free zone over here.
No radiation. I love it.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I got rid of mine, or I stopped using mine. Last year.
Nice.
Yeah, because it hasn't been 5 years for me. It hasn't even been 2 whole years for me yet.
That's okay. You got rid of it though, so it doesn't matter how long ago. You're not using it anymore, right?
I'm not. No,
well, we can't beat ourselves up for the past, right? You're doing better now.
Thank you. Right, doing better now, moving forward. Also, trying to remember that this moment is all that there is. This moment is all that there is. This moment is all that there is. The past, the future, they all exist in your brain, people. In case y'all didn't know that, the past and the future only exist in your brain, and all that ever exists is now. All that ever existed. I think that's another empowering thing, because that means you have complete control over this moment. Today is all there is.
Oh, I have truth bumps.
You have complete control over this moment. Whatever you decide.
That is empowering, right?
Right.
So, okay, back in, I think I might have said this on the stream I was with you on, but anyway, my definition of reality, right, came from like 1997. Okay. And I defined reality back then, and I defined it this way. Reality is merely what is perceived combined with what is believed. And that day that I defined reality in that way was so empowering, because suddenly I was like, okay, so I can't control everything around me necessarily. Right? Everything that I'm perceiving, like to an extent you can, your immediate environment, right?
Right.
But you can't control everything around you. You can't control everything that you perceive, you know, but you can control what you believe it to be.
Yes.
And so when I realized that my reality really was up to me. And that philosophy was so empowering. For me, you know, when you realize that you are in charge. Yeah. And this is your life on your terms, and you don't have to go with the status quo, and who gives a fuck about fitting in? You know, we're not in high school.
Thank you.
Know, I don't care about none of that. I stopped caring about that shit in 9th grade, you know?
Seriously.
But like, I don't need everybody to like me, but I'm going to be real. I'm going to be honest. You know,
Yes.
I'm going to mess up and make mistakes and hopefully learn from them and then do better.
And then do better. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. That's all.
Man, when I laughed,
you can do.
When I laughed just now, I miss laughing so much. I'm so looking forward to trivia with Dottie. We're gonna have such a good time. You guys, please sub my channel so you'll get the notification.
Go
Come
ahead.
play trivia.
Go ahead. Waters Above channel right there. Waters Above. Go ahead. Trivia's gonna be awesome. I don't get off work until 8, so normally I miss it, but I always try to catch it. At least I'll be on.
So you'll be 30 minutes late, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I'm not real punctual. It starts at 7:30.
Okay, good. That gives.
Plus, I'll probably run late. You guys.
You girl, I ain't saying nothing.
Punctuality is not my strong suit. I'm more honest than I am punctual.
it is important to know our strengths and to know where we might not be so strong. I'm the same way though. I am. I feel like if it requires me to wake up, like if I have to wake up and be there.
Oh, if it's an early thing,
you might not.
Mm-mm.
I might not be on time.
I don't do the early thing. No, my appointments are all afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
They're like, would you like morning or afternoon? I'm like, really?
Serious. It's against my religion to be up before the sun. If the sun just came up, then that means that I still have a while. The sun, he needs.
I don't know how people get up and out the door and somewhere else fully dressed and functional by like 8 o'clock. But I used to do it too. So I mean, but I don't have to do it now, thank God.
Look at you. I know you're so happy. I'm so happy because I work from home. I stand right here in the middle of my kitchen and I work. And that I love that.
Well, you know what else is empowering is doing things for yourself. Doing things that make you feel good, right? Yeah. Like I went and got a pedicure yesterday. Ooh. And yeah, I had a pedicure a few weeks ago too, before my birthday. And I went and got my toes done again yesterday. And it's just like, you know, I'm worth it. I'm worth the treat. I'm worth being pampered. And and then it's like that I have my nice toes to look at too afterward.
And you did that for you, right?
I did that for me.
To the pedicure for you. You didn't go for Chase. You didn't go for Ruben. You didn't go for anyone else. You went for you, right?
Mama time.
It is so important that we take that time. Whatever you need, if it gives you pleasure. This is the thing. I was listening to the Innerverse podcast. If you guys have not gone to check out the Innerverse podcast with Chance, I have been over there a couple of times. He had Tim James, I believe this lovely man's name was, a health and nutrition coach. It was a great podcast. I wish I had thought that I would think about this so that I could drop the link. I didn't think about it. So, but anyway, so this health and nutrition coach was talking about following your own excitement until you can't follow. So like doing whatever it is that gives you excitement until it doesn't give you any excitement anymore. Find the next thing that gives you excitement. You do that until it doesn't give you. And then, but while you're doing that, you do it without the expectation of an outcome. You do whatever it is that makes you happy without the expectation of an outcome. That last part right there is super difficult for Ariel. Oh my goodness. I plan. Okay. I am an actress. I write movies in my head every day. This is this is the outcome. This is exit stage, right? You look at the camera longingly, you cry, you shed a tear, we zoom out, we pan out. Okay, right? And then Angela walks through. This is the outcome, okay?
Right. But life's not scripted. Exactly. Life's not scripted like that. Life's organic. You got to go with the flow. Well, age has helped me with that a little bit.
Maybe
you just learn over time.
I need a couple more. I need a couple more miles. I can't.
Speaking of miles, you know what else is empowering?
Exercise.
Is exercise. Yes, girl. I've been riding 15 miles every single day on my exercise bike. Because then I can claim at the end of the week that I went over 100 miles on my bike.
That is so dope.
And guess what? I'm such a multitasker that while I'm riding my exercise bike, I'm just watching a video or talking to a friend on the phone and just hanging out, learning something new.
Yes.
Fulfilling my social needs.
Yes.
And getting fit at the same time.
Killing 3 birds, 1 stone.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, well, you know, we all only have 24 hours in a day, right?
True.
And sleep is important. Like I don't want to sacrifice my sleep. I like my sleep a lot. I need my sleep. I think that I still look as young as I do, probably because I get my beauty rest.
Girl.
And so doing okay for 45, y'all.
Yes, girl. Getting it. You look 30, and I look like I just graduated high school. So we're all and I haven't gotten into exercising anything yet, but because it's all about your body, it's all about being balanced, it's all working spiritual, mental, physical. I'm going to try to get into kickboxing or like boxing or like fighting or self-defense of some type. And I'm going to be hanging out with my friend Chris, and we're going to go try some MMA. I'm going to try to see some pros. That's going to be super fun. I want to be able to be one of them badass motherfucking warrior queens that can kill them with my pinky. I'm going to be like, what's up? Hey.
I love it.
That's gonna be me. I clip my nails, but one day I'm gonna be like, don't mess with me.
Don't mess with her.
Isn't that from like Kung Fu Panda or something? It's like the pinky thing. Shadoosh.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Oh, but exercise. Oh my gosh, it releases so many good endorphins.
Yes. Well, I've been needing it. So I've been doing great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Exercise. All right, so we've covered the spiritual, we covered the mental, the spark. We've kind of hit on the nutritional, the physical. You know, we exercise. I think food.
Sounds like my New Year's resolution that you're going through.
But you gotta hit all the ways of self-empowerment and education.
Yeah.
You gotta hit all the jackpots. All right.
That's right.
So we did that. So no.
What about emotional?
Emotional. So I think we can talk about women specifically here because there are a lot of women in abusive relationships. And I think that is something where, you know, that's the emotional tie. We can talk about that, being empowered enough to realize your own emotional worth. You know, when a man is not, or when you're in any type of relationship, it does not have to be a romantic relationship, any type of relationship where a person is not respecting you or where you are emotionally drained, right? Am I on the right path? You want to?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Relationships should be give and take, right? So, like Ariel said, I mean, if it's not, it doesn't have to be in a romantic capacity. We can be talking about friendships. We can be talking about relationships at work. The boss, you know, employer-employee dynamic. But they are a two-way street. And I think that there has to be give and take there, right? And not everyone is emotionally mature, you know. Someone's age according to their birth certificate, and then their age according to their emotional intelligence. Can be quite a discrepancy sometimes. So,
oh boy, you know, age is just a number. People think age that, you know, age makes a difference, but it does not. Okay, a 50-year-old man can just act like a 20-year-old man. Okay, and vice versa.
Right. Yeah. But I think that because, most of us, like, I wasn't taught well. I grew up in a fairly dysfunctional household in a lot of ways, and I wasn't taught how to cope with things emotionally. And I've had to learn that on my own throughout my life. And I've struggled, throughout some relationships and things because I wasn't shown, my parents didn't model healthy emotional relationships. My parents were 17 and 18 when they got married. They were still seniors in high school back in 1974. They got married on the Ides of March in 1974 before they graduated high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
They
So
were kids out here having kids, and that's everyone.
And then there I came 3 years later. 3 years later, my parents were only 20 and 21. I mean, kids still. They were kids, So just young to be having a family, And my mom was very sheltered, and so she just was kind of naive. And then my dad, his household, his parents were abusive and alcoholism and all kinds of stuff that he witnessed that went on in his home, and so it's interesting how the cycle of abuse often continues because people have children before they have the tools, before they've done the work, to know how to cope themselves, and then they pass on these dysfunctions to their own children because of how they engage with their children. And it's not intentional, usually people aren't even aware of it, but it's interesting how with the awareness, each, like I've noticed, at least I can look back a couple generations in my own family and then forward with my own child and see how, like, there was more abuse in my father's home, for example, than there was in my home. Right. And then growing up, I mean, my family home as a child. Right. And then, in my home now, of course I do what I can, but I waited too, I was 35 when I had my son. Mm-hmm. So, I had not learned everything by any means. I'm still learning all kinds of things, but
that is still much, that's older, especially than today, 16, 15.
But I had life experience, yes. And so yeah, I mean, being aware and then looking for resources, right? So like personally, I found a lot of information in books. And then over the past like 4 years, because I was watching YouTube for, of course, discovering truth about a lot of things as well, right? But so I've been watching YouTube in total, I guess for six years now. But but only about the past 4 years have I been watching certain self-help channels that, so I mean, I've still done a lot of growth, fortunately. Again, we've got resources at our fingertips, right? So if you're looking for answers, they're out there, right? Yes. Like you might not know where to look at first, but usually getting on the right path will take you further down the right path, right? So that if you don't find like the best channel or the best book or whatever right away, as you keep reading and as you keep, you'll get other recommendations, right? Just like we all learn things from comments as much as we learn from the content in the actual videos that we're watching, right?
I agree.
So,
yes.
I think, following your own, rabbit trails, for whatever it is that you're seeking, right? Mm-hmm. That the information is out there. Mm-hmm. So like, there's a channel, Lisa A. Romano. She's a breakthrough life coach, and she has written several bestsellers. You can buy her books on Amazon. Cool. But she has a YouTube channel also, Lisa A. Romano. And she's very articulate, and she's been through it herself, you know, and she focuses on a couple different things. One being adult children of alcoholic parents, right? And one of the things that, you know, I've really learned from her, well, one of the things that she says a lot, right, is that you are enough. You are enough. And because really it's like a colleague that she works with, and I can't recall his name at the moment, but he calls it self-love deprivation, right? SLD. So like, because people, they don't have the self-worth, right? So you get involved and you end up, you know, getting into relationships with people that aren't treating you right, aren't treating you well, aren't respecting your space, aren't allowing you to have your feelings, you know, aren't really seeing you for you, you know, and you have to really love yourself enough to recognize when that's happening, and know when to, you know, when to cut off some relationships, honestly, because they're not all healthy. You know, if you find yourself in a toxic relationship, you know, it's time to remove yourself from that. And sometimes you have to completely remove yourself from that.
And sometimes toxic relationships don't start out toxic, right? You know, sometimes they go into toxic things. And you have to have the discernment and be strong enough within yourself to know that it's okay to let go, you know. I think
absolutely. Well, I mean, you know, for example, something that's toxic that doesn't look toxic at first, right? It doesn't look like a red flag unless you're aware of this pattern already. But you know, someone who is just really quick to praise you and to put you up on a pedestal and to kind of rush things in a relationship to get to a more, you know, to make you a lot of promises and things like that. Like, you know, those are actually red flags. Like those things look good and feel good unless you recognize, you know, and I mean, of course, like being complimented and praised and supported and things like, you know, by themselves aren't red flags. But when somebody is like just too fast and furious with it, basically, you know, I mean, you might be that awesome, but you know, usually it takes a little while for somebody else to see that you're that awesome.
Exactly.
So if they're telling you that right away, that might be a red flag. Just saying.
Might be. Because I mean, you should someone who is in it for the right reasons is going to want to take their time, right? Because neither one of you should want to waste. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time, right? Like we are on the.
But a healthy person won't rush it either, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. We're not wait. That's what I guess that's what I was saying. It was like, so we're not rushing things. I'm taking my time. I'm here because I'm not trying to waste my time. Like, I don't feel like my point is getting across. I'm not using enough words.
Yes. You're saying because you showed up, you already value it enough. Like that's already demonstrating that you wouldn't be doing that thing because you're not going to waste your time. You don't have time to waste. So like if you already committed to something that you're interested in.
Exactly.
Right.
Like I'm here, I'm committed. I'm not trying to waste your time. It's like we need to stay on the same page. But if you're not, then you know, you can't change.
Well, and then there's like those what they call energy vampires, right? People that just drain you. Ooh. They take up all your time, all your energy, and it's all about them.
Yes.
You're on the phone for hours and hours and hours, and it's all about them.
You never get a word in edgewise. Do they ever take a break? You know, take a breath. Yeah. Do you ever ask about you? Oh, and if they do ask about you, and it's like, oh, okay, well, you know, so blah 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 blah, and you're like,
right. Well, you know, yeah, because like, so things to look for, right? Like, is someone really listening to you? Are they actually paying attention? Are they responding to what you're saying? you know, or are they just like waiting until you're done talking so they can say the next thing that they're thinking? Like, that's how my dad is. It's so frustrating. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. My talking to my father is so frustrating. Well, my earth dad.
That's not a conversation.
No. Yeah. I feel like he never hears me. He's just always thinking about like what he's about to say. And I'm just thinking like, you know, he just likes to hear himself talk, but
it's all about staying in the moment, right? Your dad, he's doing that future making, or that whatever it is, you know, where you just fantasize and you stay in the past and you have to have it all planned out up here. It's like, what am I going to say next? You know, I got to have it ready. No, if you just
if you're busy thinking about, if you're busy thinking about what you're about to say, you're not actually listening to the person in front of you.
Exactly.
And the conversation should be two-way. The energy exchange should be two-way, right? It's not always going to be even, right? Sometimes there's going to be more giving. Sometimes there's going to be more taking. But it shouldn't always be on the one end.
Right. Right.
You know, I mean, relationships are transactional in that way. You know, I mean, they really should be. Otherwise, what happens, right? Like you give. If that person's not giving back to you, you're going to be empty. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be done. You're gonna be like,
you don't have anything left over for you.
Nothing left over for you or the rest of any other part of your life, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can't give if you are empty. So if you are in a relationship where it all it is just draining and you're tired and you know, that is not a two-way street. That is not somewhere where you should want to stay. I mean, that's something you deserve more, right? We are supposed to be 50-50 of something else, 50% of something else. We're supposed to be contributing together, and it's empowering in a way to know that you have your own worth and you have something to bring to the table. And it's like, if both of you know that you have something to bring to the table, and you can respect what the other person brings to the table, you meet them where they are, right? That's what give and take is.
Yes.
That's what give and take is.
Well, and you know, like in a partnership, for example, you know, whether it's a business partnership or a romantic partnership, there does have to be, you know, like both people aren't always going to be up, and, you know, you're not always going to be on the same page, right? So like you have to be there to pick each other up when the other one's down, and you have to give each other space to go through whatever you're going through, you know, and you have to be there to support the other one when the other one's weak, right? I mean, to me, that's what a real partnership is. It's like, it's not just like, oh, we're strong when everything's good and you know, it's like, you got to be there, right, through the good and the bad, right? Because your bad day might be coming next month, right? Yes. And they're going to need, you know, you're going to need them. And so, you know, so it's not going to be like an even exchange on a day-to-day basis necessarily, but, you know, over time, it should be reciprocal.
It should, at least over time. I agree. What Thunder Chicken, he says, we all have our flaws. Looking for someone with compatible traumas and a willingness to improve. Is that about bad outlook? No, I don't think that's a bad outlook at all. You know, I think that matching traumas it can almost be, it's like, I understand you. I know where you're coming from.
Right.
You know,
mm-hmm.
I haven't necessarily
I see that.
Walked that same path, but I can maybe I understand your triggers, you know, and it's easy for me to stay away from your triggers, maybe because I have the same kind of ones, you know. So, you know, I can respect that. I think that's interesting. And then he also said, in a willingness to improve. I'm sorry, but I don't want to be in a relationship with anyone who doesn't have a willingness to improve on anything.
Thank you, sister. Yes. Because nobody is perfect. Nobody's perfect. We all have room for improvement, my friend, right?
In every area, in multiple areas. If you think that there is one area where you say that I can't improve, then I'm sorry. Then you don't know.
Well, that's a sad human, right? Because you can't improve if you're not willing to see the need for improvement. Yes. Like if you think that you're already the bee's knees, well then why would you do anything differently, you know? And if you can't admit your flaws, well then how can you identify them and work on them to improve yourself?
Exactly. And then if you're already if you're the bee's knees, then what do you need me for? Am I just supposed to be here just to make you feel more better about yourself? You know?
Well, some people like that, right? Some people just want somebody else to help them look good, to help them feel good.
Yes.
And sometimes to make other people jealous, right?
No. Oh my gosh. And it should be about what is a what? Okay, let's act, because I don't know. All right. I have never actually been in an official relationship. I have never had that type of
I've been in several.
So you have been in several. Yes. So I feel like anything that I have to say about a relationship is from an idealistic point of view. I think because I haven't been necessarily tainted. I'm not bitter. You know, I don't have that one experience that like turned me off forever. So it's like I can be maybe a little bit more naive when it comes to talking about that. So what do you think, as someone who has more experience in the relationship department, would you say is the foundation that can bring, you know, to a relationship and what it takes, you know?
Well, it takes honesty. It takes trust. It takes reciprocation. Right? I mean, you have to be willing to step up and be an equal player. Right? Like you can't just expect the good times and the good stuff and think that that's really all that life is, you know, and like jump ship as soon as something's unpleasant, or I don't know. But I mean, you know, you have to as far as like a committed relationship, I'm just saying, you know, like right? Well, I mean, like marriage vows always say for better or worse, right? In sickness and in health, because shit happens, you know? I mean, if you marry young and stay married for 40 years, I can guarantee you that partner doesn't look like they did when you first got married.
No, they surely don't.
Especially when you take the clothes off, right?
Listen, and if they do look the same, call me, because I'm sorry, we need a vial of their blood because we need to spread that around.
They may not be human if they look the same. I don't know.
No, they may be talking about that. They may be drinking that baby blood. Honestly, if they look like they did the day you married them 40 years ago, they may be sacrificing children and eating their remains in the backyard. So y'all need to go check that out.
Oh my gosh!
But no, honesty. I agree. Honesty, and I feel like, you know,
well, what is there without that, right? And communication, like honesty, so honest communication, right? Because if it's just communication on its own is no good if it's not honest.
No,
just saying.
And then you're just talking at people, right? What's the point of it's not communication if you're talking at me?
Well, you know, what I personally value in a relationship is the connection. Like I want to plug in to somebody. I want to really feel you, you know, like mentally,
the energy
in my heart space.
Yes.
You know, yes. And I give, like I'm there. I'm in it, you know.
Yeah.
A friendship, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if you want a true connection, you have to be willing to, right? You have to be willing to be vulnerable, because you can't achieve true intimacy without vulnerability. And being honest will make you vulnerable. I mean, but it'll make you so strong too.
It will.
You know, really, I mean, yeah. Truth is the glue, man.
It is. But no, honesty and communication with your partner because like you said, it is the glue. And that is so interesting, because when I think about what I want, you say you want a connection. You know, I want a best friend, right? You should be able to, you know, not necessarily be the same person, because you're all different people, but be able to connect on every single level in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be at 100%, because like I said, everything's not going to be the same. But when I settle down, when I find my partner, my husband, he's going to be my best friend. Like, we're going to have the energy, that connection that goes deeper.
I'll tell you, I did have that connection with somebody that was, you know, just like a best friend. And just because you can plug in and be on the same page about lots of things, doesn't necessarily mean that they're emotionally mature, or that they're treating you right, or that they're even being honest with you.
Yeah.
As I found out. So.
Yeah, that is, and people can be good actors, right? People can say a lot of stuff. People can, they can even mean
people can say whatever they want, can't they?
And I think another thing, even,
and if you're not there, how would you know, right?
But to even take it one step further, people can even mean a lot of things, or in the moment, you know, or you know, have a fleeting thought that they really do think, and they say that, but it's like there's nothing substantial behind what they say. You know, they might feel that in the moment, but they're not going to do anything about it. There's going to be no action behind that feeling.
Well, actions speak louder than words, right?
Oh, like, you know,
eventually you need.
Just said that as you said that. Eh?
That's right. That's right. Well, because it's true, and you know, you don't always listen to what people say. Like, pay attention to what they're doing. You know, like, they can say anything, but what are they actually doing?
And that's why.
And how are they actually treating you in the meantime? Actually, you know, are they treating you with love and compassion and respect and sensitivity? And, you know, are they having the same kind of concern for you that you would for them?
And if you don't value yourself enough to ask these questions back of your partner, or whoever it is you're talking to, then you are, again, just going to be this unempowered, docile, life drained thing that is just there to give to this other person, right? And they don't care about you. They're just going to continue to suck whatever energy they can out of you, because that is what you have allowed them to do, right?
Right. Well, right. Right.
It's crazy.
Well, and so it's interesting that you phrased it like that, because we ultimately actually teach people how to treat us, right? Like, if we allow to be mistreated, then they're going to continue to mistreat us, honestly. Like, we've taught them that we're okay with that, because, like, we're still around. So if you're not okay with that, like, you got to say, see ya.
You do.
Have a nice life.
You do.
I wish you well, right?
And that goes back. So for me, like, I'm specifically thinking of a platonic relationship where I had a best friend, I had a roommate, and we had been friends for a while, and there was nothing wrong. We had never had a fight or anything. She had been there for me several times, you know, when I was low or when I was homeless, and I had been able to be there for her for a couple of times, and, you know, it was great. But there came a point where, you know, I had to change. First of all, you know, it always starts with the person or with you change, and you notice your eyes, you see things differently, you know, because other people, they are still the same person that they have been the whole time, right?
Right. It's just, well, you're suddenly aware, right? Like, maybe it took you a little bit to figure it out.
Yes,
it took you a little bit to figure it out.
You see that person differently, and then for me, it was difficult,
much differently,
because I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I immediately I didn't want to be around, or wanted to distance myself, but I didn't know how. I didn't know why. You know, it was weird, because, you know, we're supposed to be friends, right? What's wrong? Like, you know, this person is someone that I trust, you know, I appreciate, but now I see different, and it's like, wait a minute, am I actually getting that back from this person? Is that actually
Right.
how, is it a two-way street? And if it's not, then I shouldn't feel bad, right? I'm empowered enough. Like, I have enough power and know-how in my brain to be like, okay, I'm need more respect than this, and that's okay, right? There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with demanding my own respect and stepping back from that, right?
Yeah. Well, because of recent events. So a few weeks ago, I posted on Facebook something that went like this: 3 steps to inner peace, right? So step 1 is identify your values. Step 2 is establish boundaries. And step 3 is act accordingly.
Act accordingly.
Right? You need to act in alignment with your values. Like what? So you identify your values, establish your boundaries, and then you act accordingly. And if you're doing that, then you are living in alignment with your values, and you're not going to be conflicted internally.
Yes.
And that's how you achieve peace. You're welcome. It's free, y'all.
Free gravy,
I give it freely. I give it freely.
We're just ladling the gravy out here for you guys. That is so empowering. Say that one more time. So what was the first one?
Okay, so the 3 steps to inner peace that I said, I wrote this a few weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago. Step 1, identify your values. Step 2, establish your boundaries. And step 3 is act accordingly.
Act accordingly. Establish your values. Act accordingly. Yes, I love it.
Thank you.
I love
It'll go in my book one day.
Yeah, oh my gosh!
If I do say so myself, right? That's the name of my book.
Yeah, if I do say so myself.
Because it's a book of my original quotes. I'll have it out there one day for you guys.
I'm definitely gonna buy it for sure.
Nice.
I'm gonna get it. I'm checking over on Facebook to see if we've got anybody, and I have a couple more comments over here. Lisa Michelle, she said, you also have secondhand observation on some aspects of relationships as well. Honest communication is the key. And we teach people how to treat us. We teach people how to treat us. I could not
by whether we accept it or not. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, if you stick around, then you're teaching them that you're okay with that, right? So once you recognize that it's toxic, you got to be strong enough to get out of there.
Get out.
Or break ties, you know, whatever the case may be.
And it will be so freeing, so empowering, you know.
So empowering, you guys. I feel fucking awesome. Okay, just saying.
Yes, new energy, you know, renewed energy, new life. You know, you have
thank God.
On you.
Thank God.
God.
I have lost 5 pounds, a little less weight.
Hey, look at there. Awesome. Okay, so we got the spiritual, we hit the physical, we hit the emotional. You know, I think you know, exercising was really in the physical, and I think nutrition goes with the exercising as well too, because what you put in your body is just as important as what you're putting on your body. You're speaking out of your body, you know. Food.
Well, what you put, you know what what you put into your mind, right? That's important. The food for thought.
Yep. And
the physical food that enters your mouth to feed your physical body. Absolutely. Yeah. Today I had smoked salmon for lunch with some fresh snow peas from the garden, and some peppers and onions and eggs and avocado.
Ooh,
I had all my healthy fats and protein.
Got that avocado on there, girl. Ooh, sis, good. I might be addicted to them things. Listen.
Oh man, I love avocado. Yeah,
I do too. Do you know?
It's so good.
Let me tell you this. You might not. Y'all gotta go get you an avocado, but get you a sweet potato. An avocado. Bake your sweet potato like you normally would. Put your cinnamon sugar, put all that, put your butter. but then you put your avocado on top of there. Yeah, I didn't like sweet potatoes until I put avocado on it.
Interesting. Interesting. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yes, please do. But no, getting clean, just eating aware, eating healthy, eating cleaner. You know, I know that it's very expensive to be organic. I know that it's, you know, it's a lot to think about to try to completely change your diet from the normal everyday going to this, you know, fast food drive through, you know, whatever, but taking little steps to hydrate, specifically drinking distilled
I drink lots of water.
Drinking water, yeah, but drinking distilled water, because distilled
I
water
have good well water where I'm at, so it's all natural.
well water. Yes.
You've had my water. It was good, right?
It was delicious. It was very refreshing.
Yes.
Thanks for stopping by, Austin. Good to see you, bro.
Awesome, Austin. I love you, brother.
Seriously.
Yeah, and thank you everyone in the chat for being here. You guys are awesome. We have such a fantastic community. I'm very blessed to be part of it. Absolutely.
So amazing. I appreciate you guys so
much. We've got the sisterhood, but lots of good brothers too. So
we do. Right. Y'all may be glad I let y'all stay. Right? Y'all may be glad y'all got y'all wrenches. I did say only the lady could get wrenches too, but y'all got wrenches, so y'all be happy.
You're so funny.
Oh man. So yeah, just drinking water, hydrating, getting vitamins, you know, grounding, doing this stuff that is like just bringing cleansing of your body. All of it is self-empowerment. All of it is educating. Go just do more research than what your doctor tells you. I mean,
learn something new every single day, right? Even if it's just a new word, even if it's just a new vocabulary word, just learn something, look something up, learn something new, keep your brain engaged, you know, then you're improving yourself that way, you know, try to do some exercise, you know, read something encouraging, you know, the Bible or something. Read something that's encouraging.
Read something, right? Just try to improve yourself. You know, there is nothing wrong with that. Don't stop trying to take the experts' advice. I'm sorry. Just go find out what the experts know. You are smart enough. If you don't hear me say anything, if I don't say anything of importance on my channel at all, listen to me, person out there, unnamed, unknown. You are smart enough. You are good enough. You are powerful enough to pick up your own life and go figure it out. Whatever you decide is going to be okay. You want to know why? Because it's for you. That's what you decided, and you have control over what you decide. That's right. You cannot change what other people say about you. You can't change how other people react to you, but you can still be you. And I know.
Yes. So I want to say, be true to yourself. Be honest with yourself and others, right? Be bold. Be fierce. Keep going. You know, don't give up. Don't be afraid to try. And don't be afraid to reach out for help if you need it in the meantime. You know, like, honestly, a lot of you, even in the chat, have been there for me over the past 6 weeks or so that I've been dealing with a lot of heartache and pain and things. And I really appreciate it. You know, the friendships and emotional support in the community have been invaluable to me over the last few weeks. So I thank you all, and I'm doing much better and super excited for trivia tomorrow. So thank you for having me on today.
Ooh, thank you for being
glad it worked out. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. So we already said she's going to be here on tomorrow. Here it is. Let me drop it back in the chat.
Yes, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on my channel, Waters Above, for conspiracy trivia, Waters World Conspiracy Trivia with Dottie and I. Yay.
Yes, I'm so excited. It's going to be awesome. Thank you for everyone on Facebook. We've got 2 people. Thanks, Lisa Michelle, and to Gregory. And Kevin, I know you were over there too. And then Thomas was over there at one point. I'm not sure. who all that is. You guys in YouTube, you're awesome. I appreciate you so much. Let me see who all is here. We got Dottie's World, Flat Accord Music, much love, brother, and Hippie
Much love. Dean
Mark
F said we rock.
Yes. Much love, Mark Wood. And Melanie. Oh, Melanie, hey, don't forget, I need to have you on too. I shouted you out. Come on. Sherry. Kevin, much love to Kevin. And Thunder Chicken, I think you said bye already, but much love to you. And Wanderer of the Zone. And my spirit animal, Young Love 4020. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here and for supporting. I couldn't do this without you guys. I couldn't do this without my fellow sisters for Waters Above, for coming through for me and chilling out with me. I appreciate you. Come back next week. We're going to be talking with Wendy Scott, Miss MK Ultra will definitely be there. So
is that MK Ultra? Is Wendy? Okay.
MK Ultra, yeah.
MK Ultra. I love that name. MK.
I know, right? That's
the best. Okay.
So you guys tune in for the other half.
That'll be good.
Yeah, Wendy. Oh, I had so much fun. So I know I have not been reading much lately. It's just because Tuesdays is not a good night. So I'm going to be doing it and changing it to Wednesdays, more reading in the I'm going to be changing it to the mornings. And I haven't decided which day yet, but I think it's going to be Wednesday mornings. So maybe this week you guys tune in for Ariel Reed Rainbow's Russian Roulette again in the morning. So sometime before 10 o'clock in the morning, we'll be reading. That way I can actually read and to the best time to get your brain moving is the first thing in the morning. And I'm not a morning person, but I'm trying to be. So, this is all about growing and expanding and,
that's right.
Adult, so,
as is life. So lately I've been saying the world is a stage and life is a classroom.
There you go. The world is a stage and life is a classroom. Listen, that's how we got to
learn your lessons, folks.
Learn those lessons. Yes, please. Oh gosh, I really appreciate you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and do the outro a little. Well, actually, no. I wanted to play this song from Holistic Media. So I really love Holistic Media. Her videos are awesome. I need to get another channel for music, I know, but you guys just indulge me because I like I like Holistic Media. If you want your favorite songs to be featured or shown, I would love to hear your favorite music and what song you'd like to close the show out with.
I should have thought of something for today myself, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Always here for that, here for new music and everything. So cool. Holistic Media, shine.
I like music.
Music is for the soul, right? Music is for the soul. So anything
thanks
else?
Again. Oh, yeah, thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it.
I appreciate you.
We'll do it again.
You. Much love, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and peace out now. Take care. Stay flat. Sisterhood of the Warrior Queens.
Come on and shine, shine like a star, shining so bright, like the star that you are. Oh, shine into the future, spreading your light wherever you are. The rain as I run the race. Oh yes, I feel the pain from the resistance of Now the realization is that we are all born the same. Come on and shine, shine like a star, shining so bright, like the star that you are. Oh, shine into the future, spreading your light wherever you are. I reach for the moon and I reach for the stars. With the strength from within me, the further and faster I run. Stretching my sinews to the bone. Achieving all goals that I seek, I know I must do it alone. When they said I'd never make it, I found strength from within. Cause it is there if you seek it. So you can get it if you really want to. Shine, shine like a star, shining so bright, like the star that you are. Oh, shine into the future, spreading your light wherever you are.
Shine, shine your light. Shine your light just around the bed. Never been the warrior, call it up, destroy ya. You must see the best, nobody that can touch that. Being first, kiss it, nobody that can catch me. Moving like lightning with no energy. Shine, shine your light just around the bed. Shine your light just around the bed. If I talk like a butterfly, the earthling man. Yes, me a chat for Colin Jackson. The crowd is roaring, hearing my story. Walking on the field, them are the champion they win.
When they said I'd never make it, I found strength from within. Cause it is there if you seek it. So you can get it if you really want to. Shine like a star, shining so bright, like the star that you are. Oh, shine into the future, spreading your light wherever you are. Come on and shine, shine like a star, shining so bright, like the star that you are. Oh, shine into the future, spreading your light wherever you are. Oh, shine. Come on and shine, shine like a star, shining so bright, like the star that you are. Oh, shine into the future, spreading your light wherever you are.
Sisterhood of the warrior queens, we are strong women fighting evil unseen. We are mothers and daughters, sisters and friends. We are seeking and guarding the truth till the end. Sisterhood of the warrior queens, united we stand in harmony. Sisterhood of the warrior queens, hand in hand, creating our destiny. Sisterhood